Hi everyone, my name is Sherry Jacobs and I will be your professor for ECED 3012 Assessment, Observation, Documentation. This is a 5 credit hour course. Our text is listed right here. When I send out the welcome to class email, I will also include this link. So if the course isn't open and you want to get it ordered, if it's not open sooner, then you can go ahead and have that handy to get it ordered. Our standards and our learning objectives are all listed there, as are our institutional goals that you will need to go over on your own as you go through the syllabus for this course. Here's our outline for each week. It's a 5-week course. I wish it were 8 weeks because it has so much information. And it's such a crucial part of teaching for us to be able to understand what that observation, how we document it, how we assess the kids is really the groundwork for what we're going to be doing next as we're planning for our students. So the first week will be that introduction to observation, documentation, and assessment. Week 2 will be anecdotal notes, also known as anecdotal records, guided reading checklist, and study and student work samples. Week 3 will be on portfolios. Week 4 on teacher-created tests, and week 5 on understanding and using data. Now, I'll tell you as I'm doing a minor revision in this course right now, you'll hear me in this course, and you'll hear and see other people that have put together some very good videos on these topics that we're going to have each week. So I'm your professor, and I'm the person that will be overseeing it, but you won't always hear me in every video. I didn't want you to get confused by that. You know that you cannot miss more than 1 week in a 5 or 6 week class, and that the instructional week starts on Sunday at midnight and ends on Saturday at midnight. Late assignments, as always, we follow the MBNU 10% per day point reduction, and there is no late work accepted after the last night of class unless there has been an incomplete or an extension requested and approved prior to that last night. And the reason that I make that yelling in capitals prior is so that you know it has to go further than me. I can't green it to you like that. So it's something that you need to let me know right away, as quick as you know what's going on, if you should run into a problem. I'm pretty good about if we all run into things in our families, difficult things that happen. We have children ill. We have people that pass away. There are a lot of things that go on in our lives. And I am glad to help you in any way I can, as long as it's a legitimate reason for being late. Accessibility services are listed. The grading scale is the same as in every class. Here are our assignments for each week. For your discussion forum, the initial post is always going to be due at Wednesday at 11:59, and you have to respond. You notice it says to a classmate, to one classmate, by Saturday at 11:59 p.m. And all other assignments other than that initial forum posting are due on Saturdays. So you're going to have 2 chapters that you read each week. This first week, you'll be doing a video introduction. Each week, you'll have a discussion forum. Each week, you will have a module. And each week, you will have a reading and chapter artifacts. So you'll see that chapters 2, 3, and 4, weeks 2, 3, and 4, all run with that same theme. And there's one other, your big paper that's due at the end for week 5. So we're going to get out of this. So let's look at our Moodle site for this course. Of course, the course syllabus is right here. Student resources, you'll find that the typical student resources you need for this class will all be grouped with the week of the class. Now, here is, as you know, we're going to have a reading and chapter artifacts assignment every week. And this is a rubric for that assignment. So we'll look at that together. And the rubric is the same for every week. Well, we always want to look at, obviously, the highest or the best level in this course. In this particular area, it's an 8 to 10 points. And it's in this first section or element is summary of the most important points from the chapter. So if you didn't summarize them, 0 to 3, summarizes some, 4 to 7, and summarizes all, 8 to 10. I'm not going to go through the whole rubric with you. You're perfectly capable of reading that for yourself. I just want you to make sure that you know that I am totally rubric oriented and I grade you exactly on what that rubric tells you. So, this is, let's look next at the module rubric. So, this is the week 1 module. The modules are different. They're different depending on the week. So you need to make sure that you look at these rubrics carefully for each week. So let's see here, week 1 module. Sorry about that. Week 1 module. Question 1. Did you respond by listing 0 to 1 advantages, 1 to 2, or you're listing 3 advantages? So you'll see each one of them has very specific items. This first one has 5 questions. And if you look at the module for week 2, it's different in the rubric scoring possible points. So now you know where you'll find those. So we've looked at your artifact rubric. We've looked at your module rubrics. Let's look at your discussion rubric. As I've mentioned before, it's very, very, very important to make sure that you follow these directions carefully for the rubric, for the form. I've seen people miss points that just shouldn't be missed because you know they know what they're doing, but they just haven't followed the guidelines. For example, you have to always have between 250 and 500 for your initial post. And it needs to be in a scholarly voice, and you have to do APA guidelines. So for the APA citation element section, for example, you use course resources and outside sources as needed to support your assertions of facts and theoretical insights. Citation is correctly used. Opinions clearly labeled and held to a minimum. So what I'm saying is just listing your resources at the end is not citing them within your response. It has to be cited within your response. So, and as far as the initial post being 250 and the response being 150 or more, you just can't get enough information in less word counts than those. So it's just real important that you look at all of that. It's hard to get in the application of the ideas and personal and professional examples and so on if you don't use enough words. So just be aware of that. I, again, stick totally with it. Okay, so we're going to look at your observe, record, and assess rubric. This is the rubric for the assignment that you will have on week 5. I just want you to make sure you know it's here. Your video observation rubric checklist And this will be described in detail, but this is just the first element is the name and the description of the video. And you'll see here there are 5 videos. So you have to do each of those elements for each of the 5 videos. All right, let's get out of this. We'll be talking a lot more about that when we get to it. So I think we've looked at everything on here except the weekly artifact instructions. So 40 points. This is worth 40 points each week. You're going to choose a digital artifact tool to post to our Moodle site. And it's going to be the way you respond to your chapter readings. You'll make sure that you highlight important concepts, strategies, learning ideas from those readings. For example, week 1 is readings from chapters 1 and 3. After you read those chapters, then you're going to choose and create an artifact to summarize both chapters. Notice how that's bolded. If you can use the same artifact, but you need to cover the information in both chapters. So that's important. You can put it all together and like one kind of graphic organizer or whatever you choose to use, but it is going to be much easier if you split it up. For example, to have one for chapter 1 and one for chapter 3 on week 1. Put it on the same document because you can only do one submission, obviously. But you need to make sure you're addressing both chapters. And I'm also asking you to choose a different digital artifact tool each week. So here are the different types. Summary of the most important points. Something you've been doing your whole life writing. You make use of academic language presented in the chapter and define the important terms. Discuss issues, trends, or strategies presented in the text. Make application to your role as an educator. So here, those are the kinds of things you need to do. Here are the tools you can use. You can create an infographic using a Piktochart. You can, and you'll see there are links here. We're not going to sign into that and take the time to do that right now, but everything that's over there is linked. Create a document. Sorry about that. Create a document and use Now Comment to discuss the requirements, like create a word cloud with academic terms. Write a 2-page summary and Word, and so on and so on. Pull this up here. Yeah, this is the one we were just talking about, the Now document or Now Comment. So write a 2-page summary. Create an assessment tool that was presented in the chapter. Give a summary at the beginning of what was presented in the chapter and what your assessment tool is intended to measure. Create an outline of the chapter in Word. Create a concept map of the chapter. Again, here is all about how to do concept maps. So it's right there at your fingertips. Create a Prezi that summarizes the key points from the chapter. Create a YouTube video and discuss the requirements. Make sure you mark that as public for me to be able to see it. Create an animated video discussing the chapter. Create some sort of assessment for the chapter material, quiz, multiple choice test, etc. 10 questions, no true or false, on a Word document. Make sure you highlight, bold, or write out the correct answer. Some of you are more comfortable with artifacts, such as these digital artifacts we're talking about, than others. However, I'm asking you, get outside of your comfort zone. You will find it will make you a better teacher the more you learn about these things and how they work. And you need to really make sure that you're looking at what the rubric that we just talked about says. So let's say create a word cloud. with the academic terms from the chapter. Now, when you're creating a word cloud, which we just went to this before. I'm trying to find, let me get back here just a moment. I am going to get to, I'm going to bring this up and link it for you. Okay, so here is the weekly artifact that we're looking at right now. So we're going to go back, we're going to move back to the rubric. And now it doesn't want me to open it. Strange. Righty. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, my apologies for that. But just make sure that you're matching the rubric with your tool, your digital artifact tool is what I'm trying to say to you. And I have no idea why that's not working for us as we were just in it. Let me see if I can. Nope, it looks like, let's see here. There we go. All right, so here we are. You're going to make sure that you have, remember this is the one that is for every week. The module has different ones. So if you're using something, for example, a word cloud, you have to still make sure within your digital artifact, you have all of these elements covered. The application of your personal role as an educator and so on and so on and so on. If you can't fit them into the tool that you have chosen, you may add like a paragraph of explanation of the things that are not covered. But you need to understand that all of that will need to be covered. And that's part of the rubric. Okay. Each week, this is the course overview that will be going right here. And each week, we'll have the resources section. And then we will have your assignments. It's all set up the same for each week. I'm not going to go through any more of this with you right now. I think it's plenty to get you started for your first week. I'm very excited to be working with all of you and sharing with you what I know about assessment and how it shapes our teaching and how using the feedback from it will help shape our children's learning in the best possible ways. So welcome to the class.